Hi guys, welcome! In this series, we'll take a look at the 4th job class coming in Ragnarok Eternal Love. For our 4th episode, we'll be focusing on the 4th job of the Acolyte Class tree. For Archbishops, they can change into Saint, while for Shuras, they can change into Dragon Fist. This information is based on the data mined from the recent patch in the closed beta test of the China server. Again, these are not yet official and expect that there will be some changes once released in the open beta server. Special thanks to Kermisi, Yub, and their team for their hard work in rendering the models and translating the skills. Their pages are linked in the description box down below. Alright, without further ado, let's begin. First up, we have the Saint, which is the 4th job of Archbishop. It is said that Archbishop's faith was confirmed by God, thus blessing them with the power of light and darkness. Based on the story, the skill tree of Saint is divided into 2, light and darkness. Let's talk about the darkness skills first. First is Hodder's Wings. This is an active buff skill that increases your dark elemental damage and magic penetration by up to 30%. It will also convert 50% of the damage you deal into healing surrounding allies. However, healing and resurrection skills cannot be casted if Hodder's Wings is active. This state can last for 40 seconds. In addition, this can provide an additional 21% ignore MDef when this enhancement skill is maxed out. Hodder's Wings is very important as it buffs the effects of other darkness skills. Next, we have the debuff skill Painful Salvation. When the target is receiving damage, the target will suffer an additional true damage which is based on your int and magic attack stats. If Hodder's Wings is active, the true damage dealt will be doubled. This lasts for 7 seconds. Furthermore, when this enhancement skill is maxed out, enemies suffering from Painful Salvation will have their physical and magic damage reduction reduced by 20%. Thus, I think this debuff will really hurt a lot. Another debuff skill is Therapeutic Barrier. This will negate all the healing received by a target. Then 50% of the healing amount received will be converted into damage. This debuff lasts for 10 seconds, but can double to 20 seconds if Hodder's Wings is active. Next, we have the offensive skill Shadow Slaughter. This is an AoE skill that deals dark elemental magic damage to enemies within 4 meters. The damage is based on your magic attack multiplied by 2,560% at max skill level. It has a variable cast time of 8 seconds but short cooldown and cast delay. I guess with enough dex and VCT reduction gears, this will be a pretty nice farming skill as it has high damage modifier, long casting range, and large AoE. Furthermore, when this enhancement skill is maxed out, Shadow Slaughter can reduce a target's max HP by up to 5%, which can stack up to 5 times. This lasts for 8 seconds but cannot be used on MVPs and minis. I think that with this enhancement skill, Shadow Slaughter will also be good for PvP and GVG events. Next, we have Free Darkness passive skills. The first one is Mournful Song, which will trigger when using a dark element attack, wherein there is a chance that all debuff effects and abnormal statuses on a target cannot be dispelled for 8 seconds. This will be needed to ensure the kill with Shadow Slaughter so that they won't go out of its AoE. The second one is Fimble Winter, which will trigger only during Hodder's Wings, wherein every 3 attacks will form a winter field around you. This winter field causes enemies within 4 meters to lose a percentage of their remaining HP per second. This only lasts for 3 seconds and cannot be used for MVPs and minis. In addition, this enhancement skill gives Fimble Winter a chance to inflict freeze or darkness status to enemies for 3 seconds. With this passive, I think enemies would have second thoughts before going near a Saint when they see that Hodder's Wings is active. And for the last darkness passive skill, we have Night God Despair. This will trigger when you get killed during Hodder's Wings state, wherein the killer will have his physical and magic attack be reduced by up to 75%. This lasts for 15 seconds and its effect cannot be dispelled. Furthermore, with this enhancement skill, the target affected by Night God Despair will lose 5% max SP every time he uses a skill. So with this, I think enemies should be cautious when killing a Saint in PvP and GVG, as this passive can hurt their offensive potential. Up next, we have the light skills, which are mainly for supporting allies and buffing your offensive skills. First one is Crown of Balder. This is an active buff skill that increases your holy attack and healing bonus by up to 30%. This lasts for 40 seconds and cannot be used when Hodder's Wings is active. In addition, this enhancement skill can grant an additional 14% physical damage increase when maxed out. This is a good all-around buff for healing allies and for farming with Jude, Magnus Exorcismus, or Auto Attack. Next is Coral of Hope. This will increase your healing bonus by up to 30% and resistance to abnormal statuses by up to 20% for 120 seconds. This will definitely improve the survivability of Saint in the battlefield. Another active buff is Baldur's Aria. This can be casted on an ally and this buff lasts for 8 seconds. If the ally dies during the duration of the buff, the target will be immediately resurrected with full HP and SP. I think this buff will be essential in every situation. And last for the active buff skills is Blessed Hammer. Upon activation, your auto attacks will summon the Holy Hammer, which deals a percentage of your auto attack damage to all enemies within 3 meters. This buff lasts for 30 seconds and has a cooldown of 45 seconds. Furthermore, there is a 9% chance to trigger a 5-second Blessed Hammer when doing auto attacks with this enhancement skill is maxed out. Another enhancement skill will reduce the movement speed of enemies within range. This skill will really buff the damage of the battle type build. Next, we have 3 new passive skills. First up, we have Baptism. When a target is resurrected by Resurrection or Epiclesis, the target will gain extra 3 seconds of invisibility status. I think this extra invisibility will help in setting up moves in PvP and GVG competition. Another passive skill is Graceful Prayer. This will increase your damage to dark and undead monsters by up to 15% and will decrease the damage received from dark and undead monsters by up to 15% at max skill level. This will definitely be useful not only for fighting dark and undead monsters, but also for protecting you against the dark element attacks of rune masters and other saints. And for the last and final skill, we have Radiant Grace. This is a passive skill that triggers every time you receive damage wherein 5% of the damage is converted into temporary max HP. This stacks up to 5 times and lasts for 10 seconds. In addition, the number of stacks can increase up to a maximum of 10 times with this enhancement skill. Up next, we have the Dragon Fist, which is a 4th job of Shura. It is said that the Shura returned to Loyang and obtained the Yin Tian's blood, and he became the Dragon Fist with the power of Dragon Blood. As for their skills, we have the following. Let's start with the passive skill Dragon Beads. This converts the Spirit Bombs into Dragon Beads, and each Dragon Bead increases your max HP by 1%. Instead of Spirit Bombs, Dragon Fist will now use Dragon Beads to increase their stats and cast skills. In addition, each Dragon Bead can provide an additional 1% water elemental damage when this enhancement skill is maxed out. A passive skill related to Dragon Beads is Swallow Beads. This will restore your HP every time you use a skill that consumes Dragon Beads. The amount of HP restored is based on your lost HP times the number of consumed Dragon Beads times 2%. Next, we have the skills that consumes Dragon Beads before casting. First is Dragon Soul, which is an active buff that consumes 5 Dragon Beads, reducing your remaining HP and max HP to 20%. The amount of HP deducted is converted into a shield that can absorb a damage ratio of 150%. The shield cannot be dispelled and it lasts for 10 seconds or up to 15 seconds with this enhancement skill. However, this cannot be used if your remaining HP is below 20%. I guess with this skill plus the additional max HP from Dragon Beads, the devs are really making your Dragon Fist more tanky. Next, we have the Sky Shattering Fist, which is the water element version of Asura Strike. It consumes all your SP and Dragon Beads, and then deals water physical damage to a single target based on your Asura Strike damage. The damage of Sky Scattering Fist can be affected by the amount of Dragon Beads you're carrying with this enhancement skill. What's good about Sky Shattering Fist is that it can be used after Asura Strike since it has no SP cost. It can also be used together with another offensive skill, Sky Dragon Wave. Sky Dragon Wave is a skill that can only be activated when Sky Shattering Fist is charging. It deals physical damage to all enemies within 3 meters, knocking them back 1 meter and making all enemies within range unable to attack. This effect lasts for 1 second and not valid for MVPs and minis. Since there is very little window for you to be able to cast this skill, I think timing and practice are essential to use the Sky Shattering Fist and Sky Dragon Wave combo. If you successfully trigger it, your damage output will significantly increase. Furthermore, this enhancement skill can extend the duration of the enemy's inability to attack from 1 to 3 seconds. Enemies will find it more difficult to counterattack if ever they survive the deadly combo of Dragon Fist. Next, we have the Lightning Step, which is both a mobility and an offensive skill. It quickly approaches a target within a range of 8 meters, dealing wind element physical damage to the enemy. This can even be used while in steel body state, so you have a huge damage reduction when you approach a target. This is like an enhanced version of body relocation. Furthermore, it will have up to 40% chance to trigger Curse Circle for 1 second. So it will be very useful to use Lightning Step before using Asura Strike and Sky Shattering Fist so that the enemy won't be able to escape. Next, we have Unrivaled. This debuff skill reduces the auto-attack damage of an enemy by up to 50% and forces the enemy to attack you for 3 seconds. This skill can be used in still body state. In addition, it can grant Endure status and reduce auto-attack damage by an additional 20% when this enhancement skill is maxed out. The forced attack mechanic is the same with the Swordsman's Taunt skill, which is really useful against MVPs and minis. Another similarity with Taunt is that the forced attack effect is not applicable to other players. Thus, only the reduction in auto-attack damage will take effect in PvP and GVG. Maybe this will make Dragon Fist more in demand when clearing instances. Next, we have other skills that will make Dragon Fist really tanky. First is the active buff Golden Bell Barrier. After a short casting time, you and nearby party members will get up to 30% melee physical damage reduction, which lasts up to 18 seconds. In addition, this enhancement skill can trigger when receiving physical damage, wherein there is 100% chance to activate Shockwave that deals physical damage and also knocks back enemies within a radius of 4 meters. This will not only protect yourself but also your other teammates against melee attacks. Second is the passive skill Dragon Scale. This will trigger when receiving magic damage wherein there is up to 15% chance that the damage is reflected back to the attacker. Last is the passive skill Immortal Dragon. This will trigger when your character receives a fatal death blow wherein your HP will be locked to 1, similar to the mechanics of anti-fatal death blow food. The attacker will have a dragon mark which lasts for 9 seconds. If the target with dragon mark gets killed, you will restore 20% of your HP and avoid death. However, when the duration of dragon mark is over and the marked target does not die, you will not be able to escape death. Do take note that this has an internal cooldown of 60 seconds, so don't go into battle precariously. If you do die, another passive skill will trigger which is called Inheritance. With this passive skill, you'll be able to automatically transfer your remaining dragon beads to the party member that has the lowest percent remaining HP within a range of 8 meters, restoring his HP by up to 25%. In addition, it can also restore up to 25% of the party member's max SP if this enhancement skill is maxed out. Lastly, we have the additional Acupoint or Gentle Touch skills. First is Gentle Touch Seal, which is both a debuff and offensive skill. It deals physical damage to an enemy and has a chance to prevent the target from using auto attacks for a period of 3 seconds. Although the skill damage modifier is quite low, its damage can increase by 30% with this enhancement skill. Related to this is a passive skill Gentle Touch Integration. This will trigger when using auto attacks or any offensive skill wherein there is a chance of using Gentle Touch Seal on the target automatically. The chance to trigger Gentle Touch Seal when using auto attacks is 15%, and when using an offensive skill is 25%. And for the last and final skill, we have Reborn. This is a passive skill that triggers when using a Gentle Touch skill wherein you'll receive plus 200 physical defense and plus 100 magic defense for 15 seconds. This can stack up to 3 times. Furthermore, this enhancement skill can increase both physical and magic defense by 3%. Alright, so far we've touched on how the Saint and Dragon Fist would look like and what their respective skills would be. I can't wait to see these new skills in action. Feel free to comment down below your thoughts on the new skills of 4th job. The skills are also found in the ROM Codex website, so check it out. Also, stay tuned on my next video wherein we'll discuss the skills of the 4th job of the Merchant class tree, Lightbringer and Begetter. Alright, that's it for this video guys. Don't forget to like if you enjoyed watching this video. If you're new here, I would love for you to consider subscribing by hitting the red subscribe button down below. I would love to have you back. Thank you for watching and see you in our next episode.